Good evening. How's everybody doing? I'm good. I just got home from work and it was a really good shift. I just started at this place recently at this upscale restaurant, and I haven't worked in a restaurant or done any waiting tables or anything like that for over a decade. So I was a little nervous going back because I was going straight into an environment where everything's expensive, and so you want it to go well for everyone, and you don't want to do anything ridiculous, and you don't want to commit a faux pas, and you need to be able to like gracefully open a bottle of wine and get back to the table fast enough when you need to like reset fresh silver for the next course. So I've been working really hard to like keep up and be graceful and gracious and keep a good attitude at work all the time. And so they've kind of figured out that if they overwhelm me, I'm like, okay, but I can't do anything or be anywhere else. Like, we're all running each other's food and drinks and everything constantly. And so I finally started to get my stride, and it's so funny because I wanted to go in and have them underestimate me a little bit so I could have like a gentle start and like really learn and like get training and all that before I'm just like slammed. And inevitably they're like, oh, she's a proficient person, like let's give her more. And I'm like, not yet. But anyway, so I went in tonight and I had like one of the sections that has a very large table. So it's like you have like large parties coming in, but then you have like a bunch of smaller tables too. So you really have to juggle. And I went in and I was like, oh my gosh, I've been doing the unblocked money workshop and to be magnetic. And so I worked on it today, and I did like one of the meditative exercises. And when I went in and I saw that I had this section, I was like, oh my gosh, maybe I should slow down with the workshop. It's definitely doing the trick. It's definitely like, I felt very unblocked for money today. It was a crazy night, but I'm grateful. I'm happy. And I'm excited, and I'm tired. And I wanted to talk about a subject that I'd written about in my journal, but I think it's a bit heady for tonight. So I decided to pull us do a bonus pull with the most beautiful, magical unicorn oracle. I love this. It's such a good deck. And then I was going to do a couple of follow-up cards for my own custom straightforward oracle. So let's see what's in store for us the next couple of days. You know what? Let's ask, I don't know why, but I feel like we should do a love reading because we had the 22222. It was very partner oriented. I feel like yesterday was very career oriented. It was very much like expect a windfall, like bring your good attitude, and like you're manifesting right now, so use your mind. So let's do a romantic reading about what we can do, what should we do to enhance our love lives right now. What is our romantic advice? What's our message? Everybody think about your love life and what you want for yourself and how it's going. Ooh, what do we have? Forgive. Oh my God. I'm dead right now. Okay, so in the romance angels, I swear, I'm doing these romance readings, and the only thing that ever comes up is like forgiving and learning. And so I thought I'd be real slick and pull a romantic card out of our magical unicorns deck, and it's still forgive. You can have 100 decks, and you can just pull one card from all of them all the time. It's time to let go of anger and blame. And I think that this is really, really vital for everyone, whether you're in a relationship or whether you're single or whether you're just dating. The relationship killer is really when those little petty annoyances add up and those resentments build up over time, and the small things get bigger and the big things get even too big to almost deal with. And so try not to keep score. Settle the score every day. Meaning don't go fisticuffs. But like keep the air clear. Keep your communication open. communicate your needs. Like, I don't know if anybody out there is still doing this, but I know that in human history, up until now, people have had a tendency to want their lover to like just know, and just to read their mind, and just, I don't want to have to ask you, I want you to just do it. Well, let's just not stop doing that. Let's stop having like unnecessary problems. Communicate what you need. Communicate what you want. Communicate if something's not going well. You know, I think that some people are reluctant to communicate negativity and they're afraid of conflict. But the thing is, a healthy relationship needs some conflict. There needs to be arguments. There needs to be disagreements. That's how you really like become intimate, and you learn more about each other, you learn more about yourselves, and you push each other to grow and to evolve as people and as a couple. So it's not a bad thing to have confrontations. You can do it in a healthy way. You can be kind, and you can be gentle, and you can be compassionate, and you can just be honest with care of the way that you approach the situation. But I think that the more open and gentle and kind, I think that the more excited and receptive your partner should be to want to meet you halfway and communicate to each other. I think that if you have a breakup behind you, which I think most people on earth probably have had a breakup behind them, I think it's time to forgive your past, to forgive the people who have come and gone, forgive the people who have hurt you. Some people may have hurt you passively and they didn't want to hurt you, and some people may have been malicious and hurt you also. And, somebody brought up a good point the other day. She was like, had been through something really major, and she wasn't ready to forgive yet. It was too triggering. And I think it's important to be gentle yourself, especially with intense traumatic situations. Just know it's a process, and I think sometimes you don't have to fully forgive, but if you can be willing to start seeing the situation differently for your own good, to unburden your own heart. It's never to say that you're forgiving someone. Like, if I forgive someone who's wronged me, I'm not saying that it's okay that you did that. You don't even have to tell them you forgive them, but in your mind, you're like not carrying it around anymore. It's not defining you. You're not believing that you have been victimized as much as you believe that you have survived and overcome. So it's like a balancing thing where you cleanse yourself of all the pain and the charge and the trigger that it's bringing to you. And it's never saying that the person wasn't wrong. And it's not so that they're, able to just walk away guilt-free. I think that's where a lot of people are reluctant to want to forgive. They want to hold on to it because they want to, they don't want to give the other person the relief or satisfaction. They want them to know that they were wrong, and they might have been wrong. But this is more like you need to unburden yourself because your heart is carrying it around, and it's in your energy field. And whether you mean to or not, that vibration of that experience, if you don't get it out of your system, then it's still hovering, and it's like almost like just sending like these broadcasts out, and it's the universe is not understanding the nuance of, oh, they probably don't want that. It's like tuning in a radio dial. It's like more scientific than it is personal. So if your radio dial is tuned into replaying what happened in your energy field, then it could like match up and resonate with more of that again, and you might find that you repeat similar experiences. And it's not because you're not a good person, and it's not because it's like you aren't trying. It's just because it's in your energy, surrounding energy, and there's probably something like something replaying in your subconscious too. So forgive others. And sometimes even though we've done the work in our conscious mind and we feel differently about something in our heart, there may be some lingering influence still hiding in the subconscious realm. And so it's really helpful to get all of that out and get it out of your system and change the programming there. And I can't tell you enough. I think that I mentioned them in every single video, but To Be Magnetic has, like, their membership program. They have this thing called the daily practice where, like, the whole thing is really set up to get deep into your subconscious and get rid of all of those things that are affecting everything, no matter what you do. And they have processes to help you go back and reprogram that. And I did one of those exercises today and literally went into a different life once I got to work. It was crazy. It was like that quick. In one session today at home by myself, like leading myself through it on my own couch, I went into work and like doubled the money that I make on other nights. It was crazy. I've never seen anything act that fast except for Dougal Fraser's book, Your Life in Color. Color therapy is insane. It is the easiest, most, like, if you're a lazy person and you're like, I just want to like dip my toe in and see if it works, get Your Life in Color and read that book and start doing color therapy, because I can't even tell you, like, I've never been so surprised. I am a person who believes something might work, and I try it. I have a healthy skepticism. I try it and see how it goes. I could not believe I was blown away. Blown away. All right, so 3 straightforward oracle cards. What else do we need to know about forgiveness? What is something that helpful that we need to know about forgiveness? Okay. Needless worry. So there's something that we are polluting our mind with mental chatter. There's something that we're really worried about, and you don't need to worry about it. It's not, you're blowing it out of proportion, either that, or it's not an issue for like the other party or however the situation is. But something that you're worried about is not as bad as it seems, or it's not the issue that you think it is, and you shouldn't worry about it. Worrying doesn't really help anyway. Fretting doesn't worry, or doesn't help anything. It just adds like this chaotic hairball energy to the situation. So feel like secure to just let that pass. Whatever it is, let it go. Let it sort itself out for now. Pray that, the universe will help sort it out for you, and that, Jesus can come in and give you some assistance and help you settle your heart about it, and help you feel secure enough to think clearly and to be able to listen to the guidance of your heart. Okay, so what else do we need to know about forgiveness and this forgiveness process? And maybe it's like also, like my friend who had a very difficult time with the forgiveness. It's like, maybe don't worry, don't feel like you're doing it wrong, or that you're not doing it enough, or that you're not going fast enough, or that it's like you're lacking or missing something, or like if you're not in the wrong, if you can't, if you're not fully forgiving, like if it's a process and you're like, well, I'm willing to begin to see this differently, but I don't know how to get there. Like, it's okay. All it takes is you saying that prayer, man, Holy Spirit, I'm having a really hard time with this. I feel enraged. I feel justified. I feel righteous about it. And it's really hard to let this go, but I want to feel different, because I want to feel good and I want to spread my light into the world, and I don't want anything heavy to hold me down. And I want to be willing to be ready to let it go. Like, you can be like, I want to be willing. Like, just as long as you start moving in that direction, Spirit will meet you. Okay. All right. Ooh. Addiction, codependency, negative behavioral and thought or emotional patterns. So this is what we're talking about getting into that subconscious. If you can get yourself into the state of mind where you're like in a trance, like jogging, when you go into that trance, or whatever you can do where you're in that very impressionable state, that's when you want to do that subconscious work. When you pay attention to like those visualizations and how they're playing out, try to maybe shift it. Instead of having the bad memory play out the way that you remember it, maybe shift it and change the event in your mind or whatever, and see it playing out differently, and see how you can start to think of it in that way, and your subconscious kind of doesn't know the difference. It's like when we watch like violence on TV, like our subconscious doesn't know that that's not reality. So if we start giving our subconscious like positive imagery in our mind, it feels like this is the real experience for the subconscious. So it doesn't know it's imaginary. It actually thinks it's happening. Forgiveness. Forgiving the debts of those who you have been in relationship with. This is also releasing that enmeshment where you feel emotionally responsible, for each other. So overcoming codependency is going to be vital for any relationship or any person who ever wants to be in a healthy relationship. We want to be interdependent. And so codependent can manifest as being either too avoidant and being like that person that's like, I don't need you, I don't need anybody, I can do this on my own. That's codependent because you're really solidly in that role and you're not mutable enough or flexible. Like it's definitely an issue for you. And then you need that other person to play the other role. So pushing someone away is just as codependent as like needing someone. If you need to be in a relationship or you need someone to take care of you, or you need this certain dynamic to play out between you and the other person, like, over drama, all these different things, all these patterns. There's so many things, so many ways that codependency can manifest. And also addictions. I mean, if you are struggling with an addiction, it will wear and tear on your relationship. It's not to say you don't deserve to have a relationship, but I think that you should be aware and your partner that you're in a relationship. I mean, this is hard on that other partner too. And so I think that, if you are single and you have an addiction, it would be really great to get a hold on that before you start pursuing the next serious relationship. If you're already in a relationship and there's addiction issues in the situation, if you're the one that's not addicted, you really can't. You can encourage and you can positively, gently steer someone in the direction of recovery, but you cannot make them change, and they have to want it themselves. And if you try to make them change, then that's codependency, and also you're not respecting their free will. And even if they're being destructive, it's their decision, and it may be that you need to remove yourself from the relationship or distance yourself from it, but no one will change unless they want to. And the more that you push, the more that you'll drive a wedge between the two of you, and you will feel more expectation, more disappointed, you will feel more exhausted, you will feel more and more betrayed and second to the substance or to the addiction, and the other partner will want to avoid you. They'll feel like you're watching them instead of seeing them. And so it just does damage on the relationship. What you can do, and what I did that really seemed to help in a situation that I was in, was I doubled down on my own self-work. I put all of that energy and tried to become better in my own soul, in my own heart, in the way that I was as a partner and the way I was in the house. I tried my best to become better. And I prayed for them, and I just kept saying prayers that, like, I was so grateful that they were caring more about their health and making healthier decisions, and just praying, giving thanks for healthier habits that they were forming. And I could see a difference over time, and I don't know if they even knew or whatever that I was praying for them, but I think I saw an improvement, and it was slow, but it was slow and steady. All right, one last card. Ooh, just the one. Cut the deck. But like Ooh, listen carefully. Deep listening. Open heart. Pay attention to others. Who are you listening to? I'm going to read the back of this. Messages are coming to you and they are trying to get your attention. It is important that you listen to your heart and your own spirit first. Then look at some of the common signs, messages, and synchronicities, tests, and triggers that you've recently been experiencing. What do they have in common? What is true about all of them? What feelings or beliefs have these experiences triggered? What is the root of all of these feelings? Now, what is the core theme or message that ties them all together? Heaven speaks through many mediums, people, music, signs, but it's important that you're able to discern what is relevant and true for you and what isn't. This requires rigorous honesty, and the most easy to lie to yourself it's the most easy to lie to yourself and choose denial. I'm going to say that again. It's the most easy to lie to ourselves and choose denial. You have to be ruthlessly honest with yourself if you want to grow and change. Be open to others' advice, but don't just let others think for you. Sometimes it's divine guidance and sometimes it's their ego. It's up to you to discern what is what. All right, folks, listen carefully. Don't worry. Heal your codependency and addictions, and don't forget to forgive. Forgiveness. All right, good night.